Welcome to the Aquatics Life, the aquatic spotlight of the daily Parks and Rec show. From swimming and water safety to aquatic fitness and recreation, we explore the people, programs, and ideas making waves in communities everywhere. Hosted by Wesley King, every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is the Aquatics Life, where recreation meets the water. In this episode, we explore how aquatics professionals create safer, stronger communities through water safety, swim programs, leadership, and recreation.
All right, we are live here again with the Daily Parks and Rec show, the Aquatics Life, our most exciting show. And we've got all kind of new stuff for you. We've actually got a promo for the show. I'm so glad it came out of production. Chris, awesome job on that. You get to hear why Wesley makes the big bucks over here. It's that voice.
I have a face for radio, but a voice for commercials.
That's right. Yeah, but before we get started, you have a few announcements to make. So what you got going?
First, excited to have Craig back so we can get through our reads calmly and clearly. So fantastic. But yeah, kind of a big week. So one, if you know about the All Things Aquatics event and what Nicole Fairfield and I have been up to, tickets are on sale for Houston, September 26th, Houston, Texas, on campus. Tickets are on sale. They might be in the show notes. You can go to the website, not the website. You can go to my webpage. You can go to All Things Aquatics. You can go to Nicole Fairfield or myself. Either way, you find them, and there's only 100 tickets available, and we've sold 6 already. The whole point of the program and the day is it's a tight-knit group, small group discussions, panel discussions, and really integrated. So we're only selling 100 tickets. Tickets are on sale. And the second kind of thing, big excitement, is, again, with Nicole Fairfield, but we are bringing Aqua Babies USA to the United States. A very international and proven and approved and accredited program we're bringing with Julianne James and a gentleman named Chad Octon out of Virginia who runs Quest Swimming. And we're going to start providing training, franchising, licensing for people that want to be part of an international program that has been successful in Europe, in Malta, all across the country for hotels, any indoor water park, any indoor pool, any program you're doing now. If you teach a version of parent taught, this is the international franchise program that we're bringing. So we've posted that. We've got our website that'll be coming up and opportunities to be part of that. So very excited.
Yeah. Let us know when you get that website up and running. We can actually share the screen and kind of give us a tour of the website.
Don't think Julianne James and the team may or may not be a guest one of these days. To really talk about the importance of water safety for youth and toddlers and preschoolers and their parents, right? We love parent-taught programs. They're great, but this really tries to encompass the water safety, the water physical activity, prenatal, postnatal. So it's not just babies in the water with parents. It's kind of covering the whole gamut. So
I love it.
Excited. But none of that is as cool as our big guest, Shyanna, that we're going to have here in a minute. And we'll get to that once we get to all of our exciting promos and updates.
Yeah, so just wanted to kind of give the rundown of the week. This is our final show of the week, Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, every Friday, where you can learn all things about aquatics. Also, if you have not listened, if you have anybody that's in aquatics director or staff, I think you can play any of the episodes that Wesley has produced, and they're going to get value out of it. So he really is creating that evergreen content library that should be relevant for years and years to come. As long as water doesn't change, I think we're solid.
Bruce Lee, flow with the water.
Right. All right, but on Mondays, we have the Smart Parks Forward with our host, Dave Ramirez, talking about how how cities are becoming smart cities and all the different infrastructure that's aiding cities to have connectivity to their infrastructure. Then that brings us to Tuesday. The legendary John Prue does a show all for our military. And it's called the Military Rec Show on the Front Line. And that's every Tuesday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That brings us to Wednesdays. We have 2 shows once a month with our very talented host, Thomas White, out of Henry County, Georgia. He had the idea of creating a show about mental health. It's called Safe Spaces and Green Spaces. And that's on the first Wednesday of every month, where it talks about how important mental health is in our communities and the role that Parks and Rec plays in that. And then on the second Wednesday of every month, one of our older shows, The Rec Room, is where Henry County, Georgia, a super well-run Parks and Rec department, brings their entire leadership team and picks a topic each month and just goes deep on it. And so whether it's master planning or rec sports or aquatics or anything else, they just really do a good job of showing how the whole team handles that. So it's like you get to pull the curtain back and get to all the details. That brings us to Thursday. I think this is actually our oldest running show, the Youth Sports Mastery Show with host Aaron Locks, and he is booked solid. He's even threatening to do a second show a week so that he can get more show guests, because when most people think about Parks and Rec, the baseball field and the little coaches and or little kids and coaches and stuff come to mind. So that's always been a big part of Parks and Recreation. But there's so much more that goes into it. And he brings a lot of professional athletes, coaches, athletic directors. He has some really good show guests there. And then that brings us to Thursday evening, our only evening show right now. It's a show dedicated to the young professionals of our industry. It's called the YPN Show, or Young Professionals Network Show. That's every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And so the populations that are good for that show are not just the college students, but also if you're an intern, or if it's like your first 1 to 5 years in the industry and you're like drinking from 10 fire hoses trying to figure out what's going on in this industry, or even if you're like a professor or have a strong internship program, we'd love for those that are kind of educating and mentoring our young professionals to come on that show as well and let us know what they're doing to hand the torch to the next generation of leaders.
Hint to our guest that coming up fits in that category, by the way.
Yeah, there we go. And then our latest edition, which is the Director Pepper Club, and this is run by a super talented guy that's soon to be retired from Parks and Recreation, highly decorated. This is Papa J, Jonathan Skinner, and it is just such a fun show. I just helped produce that last one. That was a few minutes before this, and then that brings us to where we are today, every Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, with our very talented host, Wesley King, who has an entire lifetime of aquatics wisdom he's passing on to us. And so really appreciate you doing this for us, Wesley, and sharing all that you've learned in aquatics.
I love
all
it.
right. So, Jovi, if you want to go ahead and cut us to the transition, and drum roll after that, immediately following our promo for this show, which we're going to start running across all the other shows. Chris, you did a great job on that. Wesley, you did too. I really like how it kind of came together. So, Jovi, why don't you go run those, and we'll come back and start our conversation with, is it Shyanna?
Right, Shyanna.
Shyanna, I got it right. There we go. All right, Jovi, take us away.
It's not just water. It's responsibility. It's leadership. It's not just drowning prevention or water safety. It's life. And every day, aquatics professionals make decisions that save lives. Because aquatics is more than swim lessons. It's community. It's creativity. It's impact. For over 30 years, aquatics hasn't just been my profession. It's been my life. I've seen the challenges, the pressure, the grind, but I've also seen the power of great leadership and what happens when communities come together. This is where education meets entertainment, where real conversations happen, where aquatics professionals come together to learn, lead, and grow. Because aquatics should bring people together. This is Aquatics Life, streaming on DPRS Media Network.
Man, I love that promo. It makes me want to go swimming.
And I know what was coming, and it still hits me.
Yeah.
Shyanna, and you're the first to see it, so welcome. And if you have any comments or notes, the footage is already cut, so there you go. But yeah, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. First, just to introduce you, if you wouldn't mind telling us about yourself, and as Craig asked earlier, what those fun letters below your name are and what they all stand for.
Yes, of course. Hey, everyone. My name is Shyanna Salas. I'm the Aquatics Director here with Moultrie-Colquitt County Parks and Recreation Authority, also known as MCCPRA, because who has all the time to say all those letters out, right?
That's why I asked.
Yep, and we're based in South Georgia, a small little town called Moultrie. We're about, I would say, about 45 minutes from Valdosta, Georgia. So if anybody knows where Valdosta is. I've been involved in aquatics for about 10 years, starting out as a lifeguard, and then working my way into the leadership role of the Aquatics Director. It's really become a passion of mine. I didn't think as a lifeguard that I was going to be, in aquatics still at 26 years old. But I did, with great leadership and, just learning how to be a leader. Aquatics, it's, like I said, it's been a passion of mine for really the last 6 years, I would say. I hold the certifications AFO, CPO, CYSA, LGIT, and WSI.
This is so fun, confusing, Craig. Keep going. Tell them
more
letters.
I mean, I can say them all out if you want me to.
Yeah, I'd love, for those that don't know, I'd love for you to kind of say what each of those certifications are and kind of what their purpose is.
Okay. So aquatic facility operator is AFO. That's more like the operations of everything. I would say outside of the pump room, because I feel CPO is more inside the pump room. And learning about all the chemicals and stuff. Now, AFO, you do still learn about the mechanics and chemistry and all of that. So AFO is aquatic facility operator. CPO is certified pool operator. Here in the state of Georgia, we do have to have a certified pool operator on staff to be able to pass the health department. So we have actually 3 on staff here. My boss being the first one, and then I was the second one, and now we have our maintenance guy. He's also CPO certified. Certified Youth Sports Administrator is CYSA. I got that because I was doing T-ball and softball for a little bit. And then Lifeguard Instructor Trainer. So I get to train instructors. It was probably one of the worst. I say worst, but hardest. Let me say the hardest certification I had to go through.
What made it hard?
It was, they want it to be perfect. So everything had to be perfect. If you're going to be teaching, instructors, you have to be able to teach it correctly.
Yeah, walk through that. Yeah, so Craig, just to so it's not teaching lifeguards, Craig. It's teaching the lifeguard instructors. So she taught the lifeguard teachers, who then taught lifeguards. So not only is it difficult to be perfect, like a doctor-ish, but also the availability of the classes. And when you can even enroll to earn this. So I worked for the American Red Cross, and I oversaw 22 properties, and I was not an instructor trainer. So that's how impressive it is. So yes, keep going. Just to give Craig some context, it's a one level above what is traditional. Yeah, impressive.
Thank you. And then water safety instructor is just teaching basically swim lessons, but all about water safety. The American Red Cross is where I hold that certification at. And they have a lot of good information about swim lessons and water safety in general. And I'll get later into our water safety swim lessons in just a little while, but it's all about water safety. It's not just about learning how to swim. And I just love helping training staff, growing the aquatics programs, and then expand the access to swim lessons and water safety education in our community. But yeah, she's
better than I am, and
half my age. I don't know about that.
Well, in context, I could never articulate it that well. But I told Craig this earlier, and we'll go back to kind of the last 5 years. And I want your thoughts on this too, Craig. Is we've talked every episode that this industry can be an island. It can be independent. And Craig learns every week. Who do you call? There's no bat phone in aquatics. There's no easy stable button in aquatics. And the reason I'm excited to have Shyanna here is because you are that encompassing of those things, from the certifications to the implementation to the staff. And so kind of you've lived it, and Craig has heard about it. So I'm just excited for him to be able to take all the pieces and say, oh, that's what it's like. Oh, that's what somebody does.
If you have any questions, you could just call Wesley. And if he doesn't know it, he knows somebody who knows it. He'll get you in touch with him.
But it's fun to watch you go through this journey. And I mean, I wish you had more support at the beginning. But to that point, would you mind taking us back to, I think it was early COVID when you graduated, as many people do, into a leadership position? Craig, we're lifeguards, and we show up and they say, hey, you've been here yesterday. Tomorrow you're going to be in charge.
Nice.
Almost accurate, Shyanna, or fairly close?
Yeah, I mean, I actually before 2020, I ended up having an accident, so I was no longer a lifeguard. I had to go back to be certified to become a lifeguard, and I was called by my boss now. Never met her beforehand, and everybody before me actually was like, why don't you call Shyanna? Why don't you call Shyanna? And she's like, who is Shyanna? And I'm like, well, me, it's me. But she ended up calling me, and so, brought me in, talked, and I was just the pool manager, and for the summer, and I, got certified as a lifeguard again, and then I ended up becoming a lifeguard instructor. So that way I could train my own lifeguards, because here in South Georgia, like, it's really hard to find those instructors. And I was the only lifeguarding instructor in like a 50-mile radius for a long time. Like the closest one was Nicole. And
which is not close, by the way, Craig. Just
it's really not.
Yeah.
So it was challenging. And then, my boss, her name's Maggie. She was very helpful and, told me to keep pushing and finding the different certifications, and it just kind of went on from there. Still at that point, I did not know that I wanted to stay in aquatics. Like, my whole life, I wanted to be a nurse, and then it just kind of transformed from there. And I just kept going and getting the certifications and trying to better myself, and really our organization. And I really couldn't have done that without the support that I've had over those last 5 years. Because I really didn't know, didn't know how to,
you don't know what you don't know.
Test chemicals or anything like that beforehand. And then I had to go get certified. And then, I was taught by Maggie, because she was the certified pool operator at the time. And I learned a lot.
And you used it too.
Trial and error.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the other thing too. And Craig and I talk about this all the time, is it's one thing to have the letters behind your name. It's another thing to implement them, from actually testing the chemicals and then teaching other people to do it, to teaching the swim lessons and teaching. And a lot of times in the aquatic recreation field is we're pulled in multiple directions. And I think one of the great things about your environment is you were allowed the chance to grow. Your team said, get the cert, apply it. Get the cert, apply it. And sometimes there's not always that connection. We might get the cert and we might not apply it, or we might be doing all the great things, but not have the budget to get the cert. And so I can just so much synchronization with you and your growth, and to have somebody in your back corner to say, hey, keep going. So that's been outstanding.
Hey, Wesley, I'm curious if I know you in previous shows, you've had these numbers, I guess, at the top of your head, but I'm curious how many aquatics directors are needed in America, because it seems like that's it's a profession not only do people not know about, but then once you kind of get selected for that, you've got to hurry up and go get yourself trained and stuff, versus having colleges that are graduating engineers ready to just plug in.
It is not a plug and play situation. I want to say there are 25,000 ish full-time people with an aquatic title. No, that's not what we need. But because we don't have campus rec titles at aquatics, we don't have parks and recs titles at aquatics. So if you take all the others, you're probably close to 75, 100,000, but they're not titled
I see.
an aquatic director. And again, those numbers might be skewed, so give me some percentages. But if you take all the properties and you equate them to leadership based on size and scope, not every property needs a full-time person, but you need a full-time person accountable to the property. And that's the challenge if we don't label it. Like, again, we'll go into Shyanna's career of how she implemented some of the things and the growth is, but if you don't label it and say I'm an aquatic director, then it's really hard to answer your question because I'm in charge of the pool, but I'm the recreation director, or I'm the fit. But so that's, I mean, I'm not trying to skirt the question, but it's a challenge because we know we're in charge, but our title, you know, when you Google it, no, it won't pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that just shows the demand for people like Shyanna to, you know, I mean, imagine if you had all these certifications coming into Parks and Rec, they would be like, oh, thank God, we've got somebody that actually has all the stuff we need.
It might be scary. You might have scared Maggie, by the way, or any of the Maggies, because you don't know what to do with it. And I'm not being facetious, Craig. And Shyanna, I want to ask you about that early days when you got that first cert and how you implement it. So we'll get to that in a second. But Craig, if you walked into an aquatic environment and had all the things Shyanna had at her stage, the leadership would be nervous because it's a unique situation to have that much universal background. Shyanna could have 8 things in pool chemistry or 10 things in swim lessons, but the diversity that she has is what is kind of off-putting at such a young age because you, as the long-term aquatic director, didn't have it. You learned 15 years it took you to get all that stuff, or you had to go. But she's coming in saying, I can see the pool. I can see the chemistry. I can see the lifeguards. I can see the swim instructors. Well, that's a perspective that most individuals don't have at her age, often don't have much longer in their career. So without being too skeptical or pushy, it might make people kind of sit back and go, wait a minute, how can you see all these things? I only know this part of aquatics. So not in a negative way, but it's something to be thoughtful of.
Yeah.
So going back to that, Shyanna, I know you went through the grind. Talk to us about some of those experiences in the early days when you were trying to implement a chemical check system or a lifeguard training program. Like, what was that like for you with the support, but also being on your own?
I would say I've never really been on my own. I've had the support. I mean, learning all of that stuff, yes.
Yeah, fair.
But learning about the chemical checks and all of that, how to make things balance and everything. Maggie was there pretty much every step of the way. Now she'll probably tell you that she does not know anything about lifeguarding, and so training the lifeguards was the biggest thing for me. That I did have to learn pretty much on my own. What certifications I need to go after, and all that. It was very nerve-wracking at first.
Teaching your first class, what was that like? Teaching I saw there it is. Tell us.
Yeah, teaching that first class was very nerve-wracking because one, I knew that I was teaching them for our facility, but
which is not always in the case, Craig. Keep going, Shyanna. It's unique that you get to train your own people in your own house. Sorry, go ahead.
And it has been the best decision I ever made was to get that lifeguard instructor, so that way I can train my own lifeguards. But it was so nerve-wracking because the American Red Cross, you can't teach what your facility policies are. You have to teach what the American Red Cross says.
If it's not in the book,
if it's not in the book, you don't teach it.
You can't say it.
And you can't say it. Like, you have to 100% teach from American Red Cross. So I pretty much was in my book like this the whole time. I'm like, this is no way to teach. Like, I feel like I need to, talk more and not just read. But it was very nerve-wracking, and I got through it. And then the more that I taught those classes, the better I got, and it was not as nerve-wracking. But you hear about all these people getting called by the American Red Cross quality assurance and different things, that's the biggest thing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So that was why it was so nerve-wracking, because I'm training my own lifeguards and I'm like, this is how we do it at our facility, but I can't say those things. I have to wait until after they're trained in American Red Cross lifeguarding just to even tell them how we do it at our facilities. That was probably the biggest challenge for me.
At the risk of being a decent interviewer, build on that. Talk to us about how important having a plan for customizing your in-services or your post-certification. Because again, Craig, if no matter where you're teaching the Red Cross, it has to be by the book. So to Shyanna's point, she knows there are nuances and torques and quirks and tips and things and little things that they have to know about her pool, but she can't say it until she signs a certification, but she has to track it and can't forget it. So then she's jumping on it when they are certified. She goes, okay, remember all the stuff in class? Great. Now, here's how we do it.
Yep.
Would you mind talking about just the mentality behind it or how you put the two together? Because that's a challenge we all have.
Yes, and it is still a challenge to this day, because I mean, there's a lot of lifeguards that I train. I very rarely train any out of organization lifeguards. They come few and far between. So I'm training majority my own lifeguards for my facilities. So basically, I'm teaching them, what American Red Cross wants, and then I have to turn around and, do an in-service a couple days later and say, yes, this is what you learned in American Red Cross. This is how we're doing it. Now, I'm not saying we fray from it completely,
of course,
but everybody's emergency action plan is different because all their facilities are different. So you can't, one emergency action plan does not fit every aquatic facility in the world. They're just set up differently. They have different leadership and different things like that. So I would say the way that I navigate that is just making sure that we get those in-service hours in and make sure they understand, yes, this is the American Red Cross way. And then this is also how we do it at this facility, but still remember that, you go back to what you were trained in doing. I never train more than what they need in American Red Cross. Obviously with the American Red Cross, you have to teach it by the book. So whatever they say goes. But like, we don't have any oxygen or anything like that at our facilities, but it's one of those things, like, you kind of actually have to say at some point in time, like, this is what you're supposed to do in this class, but I don't have oxygen. So,
and to that point, Craig, some states don't require it. Some properties do require it. If you're medically based, right, there is a standard for medical fitness response, but that's not Parks and Rec, and that's not corporate. And now Shyanna wrote her own EAP, or maybe Maggie helped, but then you guys have to do it on your own. But then that lifeguard works at another pool and say, wait, what's the EAP for this pool, and what's the one for that pool? And because, as Craig learned, there's no national standard, because I have oxygen in this book, but I don't have oxygen in this location. Anyway.
What's EAP?
So many great things.
Did I say that right?
Emergency action plan.
Emergency action plan. See, I'm learning.
Yep. You're on. And I know a commercial soon, but that's why I think having you, Shyanna, is so relevant for our audience, those that listen on Spotify, those that listen on their walks or just watches, because no matter where you are in your career, the things Shyanna is facing in real time are universal. I know Nicole and Tyler too, they've been doing different things, but again, Nicole's an aquatic director too, but with all the diversity Shyanna is required to hold, she has the ability to understand and then speak to things that everybody that could be our audience has touched on. So just wonderful stuff. Craig, do we need to cut out for a commercial and then come back, pick on Shyanna more?
This is a good break. So I texted Aaron. I said, hey, I wanted to say this about your, what you do. And so let me go ahead and read that, and then I'll talk more about Outdoor Link. But I said, so this is the National Academy of Athletics. Aaron is also the host of our Thursday show, but he has a company that partners with Parks and Rec departments. And so I said, hey, can I say this? The National Academy of Athletics partners with communities to run all-inclusive recreational sports programming that your community wants, but that you might not have the gear to run. Might not be geared up to run. If there is a youth sports program that your community wants, but that you aren't equipped to run, partnering with National Academy of Athletics is the way for you to offer quality, inclusive rec sports for your community without having to hire and manage the coaching and staff. And he said, why don't you also add National Academy of Athletics provides everything from curriculum, staff, insurance, registration, marketing, even t-shirts. So they can really help you offer programs that the community wants. Let's say they want to run a pickleball league or flag football, but you're not really staffed for it. They can come and run that whole thing turnkey for you. And he's partnering with countless Parks and Rec departments across America to do this. So we'll run a promo for him. And then, of course, Outdoor Link, one of our primary show sponsors that have been here with us since the beginning. Big shout out to Tasha and her team with Dave Ramirez. They're helping cities across America become smart cities. And when I say smart cities, imagine if your entire infrastructure was tied into the internet and you could turn on all your lights, lock your bathroom doors at a certain hour, turn on your splash pads off and on. There's so much that you can do with their infrastructure, and it's so affordable. For $950, they can control 4 different sports fields, and now you're not having to send your staff out there to turn lights that have been left on, turning them off. So, Joby, why don't you go ahead and run those 2 promos for us, and then we'll come back and finish up our conversation with Shyanna. Shyanna.
Yeah.
Got it.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. All from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the Daily Parks and Rec Show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
They say it's just rec. Just rec, where kids learn to try again. Just rec, where confidence begins. Where teamwork, effort, and fun matter more than trophies. It's not about perfection. It's about participation. It's not just rec. It's where kids learn to love the game and themselves. It's just rec until they learn teamwork for life. It's just rec, but it's everything to them. It's more than rec. It's a movement. It's just rec until you realize it's shaping the next generation. Together, we're not just running programs. We're building a culture of confidence, connection, and community. Join us.
All right, we're back for another round of questions.
Oh, this is so fun. And I love, Craig, I love how much you're learning.
I know.
I'm so proud of you, buddy. This is so amazing.
If this doesn't work out, I think I might become an aquatics director after this. I should have enough. I just got to go get my certifications.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is a challenge in itself. And I never want to overgeneralize, but it is, I would contend, rare to have the type of support, direct or indirect, that you've had, and you talk about it immensely. So from your boss. I'm not saying departments aren't supportive. I'm not saying we don't have good leadership. What I'm saying is I think you have something unique. And I'm wondering if you'd be willing, Shyanna, to talk about how you and Maggie have built over the last 5 years and what that really has looked like to help you.
Yeah, I'll say one thing that I wish that I knew before I started, how important, I wish that I knew how important the emotional support, or not emotional support
That
and
too.
mentorship,
Emotional
emotional
too.
support
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
are in
yeah.
aquatics leadership. Early on, I thought I was being a strong leader by just, I'm meaning, I thought I was being a strong leader by handling everything myself or always having the answers. But over time, I realized being the best aquatic leader are the ones that have support systems around them.
We don't like to give up control, do we?
No,
No,
not
we
at
don't.
all.
Aquatic people are control freaks, Greg. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my pool.
Right.
Yeah, definitely so. But I realized though the best aquatic leaders are the ones that have those support systems around them and are willing to learn from others. So I was more than willing to learn from anybody and everybody. Wesley, I watched your stuff all the time. Learning from Wesley, kind of in the background. He didn't know that until I told him whenever we talked last week. I was like, yeah, I literally watch everything you do. And so has Maggie. Maggie would send me random stuff from you and say, hey, look at this. This is so cool what he's doing. Or, hey, do you think we can implement this? So we've watched Wesley for a long time. But also alongside, we've just learned as we've gone. And the support can look like a lot of different things, I would say. Definitely having a supervisor who takes the time to mentor you, attending those meetings and conferences, allowing us to attend those conferences where we can learn from those professionals, or even having somebody step onto the pool deck beside you during a difficult day. So I always had that support.
And thank you for the kind words. I did not know that. So now I'm going to cry a little. I usually only cry on Wednesday nights during the podcast. Now
okay.
But what is that like? Again, Craig, I've teased this, but when we're in charge of our pool, typically we don't want someone next to us. But that's not the relationship you have in a very honorable and prideful way. What's that like when your boss, not quotes, but real boss and mentor is standing next to you? And you're trying to show the things you know, but also willing to be corrected and open to having dialogue. Like, that's just a big step in our industry alone, to have the executive director walk the pool deck with you, I would contend.
Yeah.
What was that? Were you as nervous? Tell us about that.
I would say yes and no. Just because she was a CPO before me. So Fair. She knew the pump rooms a lot better than I did. So I learned alongside her for probably a year or so before she just would, help. She would pop in every now and again if I needed help. But it was definitely I learned alongside her more than anything.
Sure.
So I never really felt that. That's guess cool. What other people probably would feel whenever your executive director walks on the pool deck, or that. But yeah, so I think it's been fun. I'm not typical. I'm not a typical aquatics director.
That's why we're glad you're here. This is how we rank. We go up and get more views. I think that's a lesson. Well, I get super talk showy here. I think that's a lesson that anybody can take away. Mm-hmm. Shyanna was fortunate to have a boss that knew pump rooms, that knew that's not his case, but your boss does know something. I'll give a shout out to Katie Kalanick, the recreation village director in the village of Antioch. She doesn't know aquatics, so I'm helping them all summer, but she was a 25-year camp director, so she can coordinate with the best of them. She's taught me how to use Google Gemini quickly. But that's my point, is you're listening to this or you're listening to other great shows we have. Just because you're not an aquatic professional doesn't mean you don't have something to offer. Now, again, Shyanna is unique because Maggie had it. But that's what I want people to take away is, well, I don't know anything about aquatics. I have nothing to offer. No. Shyanna mentioned the leadership. She mentioned the things she knew. She mentioned the financial support, the emotional support. Just because you don't know aquatics doesn't mean you can't write a check and then Talk to them at lunch after how they went to their training. Doesn't mean you can't let them brag to you about what they know. So again, my quick takeaway here is it doesn't matter what your knowledge of aquatics is. It matters how willing you are to teach and to lead and to learn and to do it together.
Yeah.
So I'm just so impressed. What do you think about that, Craig?
Yeah, well, I was thinking that when you were talking, I was like, we should do a show from the pump room, and then maybe from the lifeguard chair, or even from the pool deck.
We'll need some sound barriers, but yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say it's real loud in there. But
People would get a good idea. But again, that's the thing, and I want to talk to you about some of the specific things you've done, Shyanna, with the swim program and the WSI before we go. But your boss was an expert in what she was in, but she took great pride in making sure you knew along the way. And that's the last thing I'll say on that is watch your aquatic people. If you're an executive, you're senior level, keep an eye on your aquatic people. Keep an eye on how they are doing, not just from registration week or training week, but what's it like, that grind? Are they getting yelled at by the lap swimmers? Is the water too cold? Not did we make budget, but just how are you doing? And in Shyanna, I want your thoughts on this. I would contend that in the aquatic world, that goes a lot longer and a lot further than, hey, is the pool clear today? Did all the kids take swim lessons? The how are you doing? What's your daily grind like? I think is much more impactful. What do you think, Shyanna?
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Very
Is that
much
kind of
so.
the relationship you guys have in your,
Yeah. And it really, our whole entire Parks and Rec
Talk to us about
authority.
that.
I mean, we're all, I say we're like a family. So
Small
we
town,
all
right?
support each
Diverse.
other. I mean, we've all probably cried in front of each other. We've gotten angry with each other.
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of a family, and definitely just being in aquatics, it can be overwhelming at times because there is so much responsibility tied to safety and operations. And having people around who are willing to teach and encourage and support you makes all the difference.
That is a common thread, I'd say, with almost every park and rec property. We're a family. But talk about that family in the respect of the community, to segue a little bit. I know it's a diverse community. I know that you've got programs and properties and pools that are popular and properties and pools that are not so popular. Would you describe to the audience what's that like? Because I think it's a very common thread in the industry.
Yep. So we do have we only have technically like 2 aquatic facilities. One being it has a competition pool and a splash pad. The competition pool we utilize for competition, and we actually use it for lap swim and all that because it has lanes all set up. And then our other pool is kind of just a recreational pool. It doesn't have any lanes set or anything like that. And then it has a kiddie pool beside it. So that one gets used a lot more because of the diverse community that it's in. And there's a lot of walk-up traffic there. So it's at capacity almost every single day we're open. Whereas the swimming pool or the competition pool that's right beside our office doesn't get a whole lot of usage, just like the other one, besides our lap swimmers or our swim league or just people that want to come and visit it because this is the only pool that's open on Monday and Wednesday, or Monday through Wednesday. But a lot of people at the other pool in Northwest it is like I said, a lot of walk-up traffic. And so the kids where their parents are at work and they can't make it to the pool across town, they're just walking to the pool with their older brothers and sisters, and they're having fun because they're not stuck in the house. And I would much rather be a glorified babysitter than them being stuck in the house just on their games or tablets or whatever. And if I know that they're at the pool, I know they're safe. They're safe because I'm the one that trained them. I'm the one that's there a lot of the times. And I trust my people to make sure that those kids are safe. And I rather them be at the pool than walking around and not are getting into trouble is what I should say.
That's the emotional part of it. Yesterday, I was in the village of Antioch, Illinois, and Katie was making her speech to the team, and she got emotional because a percentage of the residents are on, charity or wage, all the whatever the right words are. The point is what you just said, Shyanna, is how can we instill that in our lifeguards, our front desk staff, that you're not just sitting in a chair. This is a place for people to go. And Craig, that's like 70% of this country, right? If you get out of California, New York, where you are, that's the core of the Midwest is walkable, small-ish town, 50 to 75,000 people, one leadership, 4 to 5 guards, resident-based, a diverse population from skin color to finance. What China is living is kind of a snapshot of a majority of how we operate in this country. And the challenges she's having. I don't mean challenges, but in the circumstances of how do I train this guard for this pool? How do I prepare for this type of situation here? How do I get this other pool busy? All those kind of quirks are pretty common, I'd say.
Yeah, I had a question for Shyanna about, you had mentioned something about we're at capacity. It never dawned on me that pools have capacity. I guess you can't put 1,000 people in your pool. So how do you kind of handle that? And what is I guess too many people in the pool, and kind of what do? You have to turn people away when the pool gets full? Or
sometimes, yeah, but most of the time, I mean, we have it open from 1 to 5 Thursday through Sunday across town, and those capacities are set really by the health department.
There you go. Talk about the ratios. Yeah.
So our relationship with the health department has been great. We rarely had any issues, but I know that's not the same for everybody. Because everybody's like, oh, well, they're just shutting us down just to shut us down. No, you're probably not in compliance. And same thing that we always say here, Maggie and I both, I'd rather the health department shut us down than somebody getting hurt or, anything because the chemicals aren't right. And because if you know anything about pools, it can happen like this. And
high volume is high capacity, is high chemical turnover, Craig. So the more people, the more chemicals. Yeah. But when all the people leave, your pool's full of chemicals. Yes. And it's anyway. Sorry, go ahead, Shyanna. Yeah.
Yep. So we kind of worked with the health department long ago, even before I was there or I was here, to put a capacity on it. And our capacity over there is 100 people. So that's actually 100 people inside the facility at a time, not 100 people in the pool, 100 people in the facility. And from my understanding is it's more so, it's about deck space, pool space,
exit entry,
how many people can be there at that time. So we worked with the health department long ago, and it just hasn't changed. But those people, a lot of the times, like I said, it's open from 1 to 5. So people get there. I mean, we have a line waiting at the door at 1 o'clock. And then those people are usually leaving about an hour and a half in. So then new people start coming about an hour and a half after we open. So it kind of works as a revolving door. There's only been a couple times where people have gotten aggravated because we're at capacity, but it rarely ever happens.
So I'm trying to get
everybody comes the day. I mean, they come the days that they want to come, and it's different people a lot of times every day, except the kids. The kids, the ones that live around there, they're there every single day. They're bringing change and pennies and quarters, and we're having to count them all.
It was 75 cents. 31 years ago, it was 75 cents. And if you couldn't afford it, you walked around and cleaned up the pool, and you'd give the change, or the boss would let you in and he'd watch you clean up and do garbage and pick up the grass. And and then going back to the ratios, Craig, going back to the capacity, that's typically set by the lifeguard ratios sometimes too. So Craig, like 1 lifeguard to every 20 humans in the water, or 1 lifeguard to every 25 humans in the water. Then your zone capacity, how hard will it be to get further, or how hard it will be to get to my area if it's crowded. Also your fire department. I'm sure, Shyanna, you do a lot of work with the fire department and your drills and your trainings. The fire department might say, well, we need this gate open. So you have to have this area cleared because we're going to come over here. So that's an area you can't even put a patron. So that would then dictate capacity because you have to have a gate or a space for a gurney to get in and things like that, just to decide how many people you can have in your pool at one time, no matter how many guards you have. Now, how many residents there? Can I get them out safely? Can I manage them in a good ratio? Also dictate capacity. So it's weird how many things go into consideration.
A lot of things that people don't think about.
And that's all real.
Unless you're in aquatics.
That's all live, like real-time live decisions have to be made.
Oh yeah, and a lot of times you do something and you don't know it's wrong until all of a sudden, oh wait, you couldn't get in that gate. Or wait, when the fire truck parks, they couldn't come over here. Well, we had 50 too many people, or we had a birthday party in the wrong area. And so to Shyanna's point, I'm with her. I'd rather the health department come in and say, look, we're going to ding you today. The gate wasn't locked. The flow rate wasn't good. Whatever it is, and then fix it, and we're fine. Because it's much better that way than hiring me or the people way better than me to come in and get paid by a lawyer to be on your lawsuit team or on the opposite of your lawsuit team.
Cheyenne, how do y'all handle bad weather, lightning strikes, all that stuff, shutting the pool down in the middle of a, storm blowing over?
Yeah. So, I mean, we monitor it. We actually use WeatherBug because it gives you real-time lightning.
Shout out.
Shout out to WeatherBug. That's what I use. But I have about 10 weather apps installed on my phone. But WeatherBug is what I use for lightning. But I have it, all those different apps, just trying to figure out, who is more accurate that day, and just trying to make sure because they're all different. They're all gonna say the same thing. One's gonna say 20% and the other says 75. So you can't just go based off of one. And then obviously if you hear thunder or you see lightning, you're going to get everybody out the pool as fast as you can, and get them under the shelter because you don't want to have that.
Is that like every day at 3 o'clock in the Southeast, by the way? Is it almost every day at 2:45 in the Southeast?
Yes. And I will say that it's really funny that you say that because there was one year I had all new lifeguards, almost all new. I had very few that were young, that were seasoned. And they did not know the difference between thunder and the trash truck dumping the dumpster, because the trash truck dumping the dumpster, it kind of sounded like thunder. So they would get everybody out of the pool. So now we have to have dual confirmation to make sure that it's actually thunder before we get anybody out of the water.
Is it garbage day? Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And I'm like,
that's real life aquatics, Craig.
There you go.
It is the garbage can. And they're like, oh, well, and I'm like, no, it was not thunder.
It wasn't Thor didn't come down from the Avengers with the lightning. Yeah. This is real lightning. Yes. But talk about that though. For Craig's question, expound on that. You close, the storm goes away. Do the guards stay? Do they go? In some parts of this country?
So, we usually keep them there, and we wait it out for 30 minutes or so. And if it looks like we're watching the radar, seeing which way it's going, if it's going to clear, if we're not weather people, so we're just looking at what the weather people have for us, and just trying to figure out and make those decisions. And sometimes those decisions bite you in the butt. And you're closing and it's gone away within 15 minutes and it's bright and sunny back outside and you guys are cleaning up and throwing all the trash away and everything. Yeah. And then people are coming back up the pool's closed. And we're like, yeah, we've already made the decision. We've already let some of our staff go. And then sometimes, you're waiting around and trying to decide because you don't want to make the wrong decision, but it is definitely weather is just uncontrollable. It's the enemy.
I wish the weather people had a recap. The sports analysts think who's going to win, who's going to lose, but nobody ever goes back a week before and go, hey, the weatherman got that right yesterday, got that wrong.
Yeah. No.
And I'm also so old that when I first started, we would bring in the daily newspaper that would have the weather report and then put it up on the wall because the Weather Channel wasn't universal at the time. So that's, we look at the sky and we print out whatever was in the local newspaper in Central Illinois. That was our, we'll just see if it changed from what they printed overnight. But that's a real thing, Craig, like creating positive communication just for, are we open or not? And like the last hour of the day, right? Oh, we're going to open. Why are we open for the last hour? You're all gone anyway. So Shyanna knows that typically the lowest usage time is last hour. Well, if the thunderstorm is during the last hour and I'm going to lose my bank on concessions, I'm going to lose my bank on staff, and nobody swims anyway, it makes sense for me to close. But if my entire community has no idea that I'm making that decision for a rational and appropriate reason, they're going to show up in the last hour and complain about not swimming because they were the
all the
people.
time.
Yeah. So anyway, that's fantastic. I got one more question, but anything else from you, Craig?
I was thinking that you might want to look on Polymarket. They, betting on what the weather's going to be like today.
That would, and how bad the forecasters are.
Right.
Absolutely. But I want to know, you kind of touched on it, what you wish you knew. What's something you would tell somebody, and then we want to know your favorite aquatic memory. We stole that from somebody else.
Okay.
But what's a piece of advice you would tell somebody that is where you were? I've got the certifications. I want to keep growing, but maybe I don't have the Maggie.
Yep. I would probably say to never stop learning. And then never think that you have everything figured out. I think you have to continue learning until you feel confident, not to the point where you feel like you have everything figured out. But aquatics is constantly evolving, and the best leaders, they stay teachable. So if you're in a leadership position, you have to be able to continue learning. You have to be open to learning, because if you're not open to learning, then you might as well just close the door behind you and walk out. And I will say relationships matter, not just your leadership, but also your staff that is below you, the patrons, and just the community. They'll remember how you treated them during a different time, and treated them long after they forget a schedule or a policy or anything like that. So that strong communication, consistency, and then just leading by example, it goes a long way in aquatics. And then prevention, just everything revolves around prevention. So as an aquatics director in the leadership role, is often about stopping the problems before they happen. Through training,
hard to define that, hard to explain to people, but
maintenance and preparation. So just making sure that you're going in there and testing the chemicals as often as you need to, sometimes even more if you have to. Walk in the pool deck. It seems simple, but walk in the pool deck before and after a shift to make sure that something is like everything's in place. There's not something that a kid could step on, or, biggest thing I would say down here is bees and wasps, and they can still sting if they're on the concrete. So that's a big thing. If you just leave it there and a kid walks by and steps on it, now you have a bee sting on your hands. It's not a huge thing, but
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. And so that is the biggest thing, is just prevention, I would say. So if you see it, clean it. If you see it, pick it up or tell your supervisor or whatever. Prevention is the biggest thing, and that's what I try to instill in my lifeguards through those in-services and everything, and making sure they're paying attention. That's the biggest thing.
A boring day is a good day.
I got a question for both of you. It's kind of a fun question. So, Shyanna, Wesley, if you were a piece of pool equipment or pool feature, whether it's like the whistle, the radio, the shepherd's hook, or a slide,
you got it. You're there.
What would you be and why?
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I think that I would be the whistle. I would be the whistle. And the reason being is, one, I'm loud. And two, I like to get the attention of everybody and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Everybody looks at you whenever you blow the whistle. So
that is true. I like that, especially if it's a good whistle, not the ball. You're too young, but the ball whistles that would just fall out of your mouth and you couldn't sound.
Yeah.
What would yours be, Wesley?
I think it would be the slide tower. I like to be able to sit. I used to have a perch just to sit and observe. I would probably be the top of the slide tower and just be able to be stationary, observational, and then people can play and have fun and use and engage. But I think that was a great question. I think it would be the slide tower or the diving pool if we didn't have one, a position to be able to kind of sit and observe.
Oh, I love that.
This is good questions. See, this
that is a really good question, Craig. I liked it.
See, an hour ago, I gave him credit. I want to remind him. I'm super grateful.
Yeah, we kind of have one for the Parks and Rec people as they come in. Like, what kind of playground item would you like to be? And everybody always picks like the 1990s merry-go-round or the spring-loaded donkey that you get on that tries not to throw you off.
I thought you were going to go the metal slides.
Those are the best.
That's a nice prank. That is so fantastic. Just to kind of wrap this up, and again, quick reminder for those, as I'll do a Papa J humble plug. Aqua Babies USA is out, and don't forget to register for Houston for All Things Aquatics #2. But Shyanna, again, stealing best practices from everybody else, would you leave us with your best aquatic memory?
I would say it's kind of a thing, combination of a lot of things, and more so like the smaller moments. So, a child swimming independently for the first time, watching nervous lifeguards pass their certification course, seeing families enjoy a safe and welcome environment. Going back to watching the lifeguards, there's been several lifeguards that I've trained myself that I actually had to teach them how to swim before they became a lifeguard.
That's a big one, Craig.
I would take the time to do that because, anybody in aquatics knows we have a terrible lifeguard shortage all the time. And a lot of it, and just being in aquatics, a lot of it is because they don't know how to swim. I had 10 of them out there yesterday, and about 3 or 4 of them could not swim across the pool. They were so nervous to doing it, but they're going to come back and they're going to continue working on it until they can swim. Even whenever I became a lifeguard, I couldn't swim the length of the pool 13 times or 12 times. It's changed now, but I couldn't do that. I had to work for 2 weeks before I became a lifeguard because I had never swam competitively before. So I would say it's all the small moments. And then, one of the most rewarding experiences has been watching our programs grow and seeing the impact that they have on the community. Knowing that the work we do is helping, and it's helping build that confidence and creating all those.
You've grown exponentially, right? You've grown exponentially quickly. I know we're going to leave. Tell the audience, there's some big numbers you guys hit, if I recall.
Yes. With our swim lesson programmer, swim safety program, we made it a goal to have about 150 kids scholarship, free swim lessons or low cost. And then we kind of grew on that and kept growing, finding grants and all of those things, USA Swimming grants, and all of those things. And last year we did about 420 kids for free.
Wow. Congratulations.
Best for last. From a goal of 150 to starting 5 years ago with, I say nothing, I don't mean nothing, but you know what I mean? Very minimal, and just you and Maggie, to then on your own finding grants, funding, resources, pool space, instructors to get 400 kids discounted or free swim lessons.
Yep.
And
you did the show, Craig.
Fantastic.
Now I'm going to cry again, man. Teaching a human.
It's not Wednesday. It's not Wednesday.
I know. I'm getting. We didn't do our podcast this week, so maybe I'm emotionally fulfilled still. I got to get it out.
Yeah.
But you hit the nail on the head, teaching swimming. So this has just been great. I'm so grateful and looking forward to more of these conversations.
Yeah. Shyanna, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Wesley, thank you again for producing another great piece of content for the aquatics industry. And looking forward to doing it again next week. And Shyanna, I can't wait to have you back
Thank you.
as a future guest.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, Jovi.
Thanks,
you can close
everybody.
us out. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Bye.
It didn't start with a big studio. It didn't start with a massive audience. It started with a simple idea. One conversation, one camera, one episode. Back then, DPRS Media Network was just a vision. No guarantees, no roadmap, just a purpose. To tell stories that mattered. Stories from the Parks and Recreation community. Stories of leadership, passion, impact, and the people making a difference every single day. Episode by episode, that vision began to grow. More conversations, more voices, more people who believed in what we were building. What started as a show became something much bigger. A place where people felt seen, a place where ideas were shared, a place where the Parks and Rec community could connect, learn, and inspire one another. And today, we celebrate a major milestone. 500 episodes, 500 stories, 500 moments, 500 reasons to keep moving forward. But this is not the finish line. This is the beginning of our next chapter. In the months ahead and in the years to come, DPRS Media Network is growing into something even greater. We are building something truly special for the Parks and Recreation community. Something designed to bring people closer, to create stronger connections, to open new opportunities, and to continue serving the people who inspire everything we do. We are also expanding our reach through new partnerships, working with organizations who believe in our mission, partners who share our vision for community, leadership, and impact. And beyond the screen, we're showing up in more places than ever before, attending conferences, meeting leaders face-to-face, building connections that strengthen our community. Because DPRS has never been just about content. It has always been about connection. To everyone who has been with us, from episode 1 to episode 500, thank you. This milestone belongs to all of you. Here's to how it all started. And here's to everything still to come. The future of DPRS Media Network starts now. In the parks and recreation industry, attention is limited, but influence is everything. Every day, thousands of parks and recreation professionals make critical decisions. Decisions on infrastructure, programs, technology, and vendors. The question is your brand part of that conversation? DPRS Media Network was built to answer that question. We are a dedicated media ecosystem focused exclusively on the parks and recreation industry in the United States. Through a network of daily and weekly shows, we inform, connect, and influence this audience. Our distribution spans multiple platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, plus email campaigns, newsletters, podcasts, and live event coverage. This is not a single-channel strategy. It is a multi-platform media engine. Today, our network reaches over 214,000 connections, including 51,000 on LinkedIn, 64,000 on Facebook, nearly 40,000 email subscribers, and thousands more across podcast and social platforms. While some audiences overlap, our true value is not just reach, it is relevance. We speak directly to parks and recreation directors, program managers, and industry leaders. an audience that is highly targeted and actively engaged. Through DPRS Media Network, your brand integrates seamlessly into this ecosystem. Through sponsored show segments, targeted advertisement placements, podcast features, and host-read promotions, even custom branded content. Not as interruptions, but as part of the conversation. And we don't just operate online. We attend over 15 major parks and recreation conventions each year, reaching more than 24,000 professionals in person. Through live shows, interviews, and on-site media coverage, we position our partners at the center of the industry. Every piece of content we produce is amplified across our entire network. Multiple shows, multiple hosts, multiple platforms. Your message doesn't appear once, it multiplies. This is more than advertising. It is strategic positioning within a trusted media network built specifically for the parks and recreation industry. If your goal is to reach decision makers, build credibility, and stay top of mind, then it's time to partner with DPRS Media Network. Apply for partnership or sponsorship today. Let's position your brand where the industry is already paying attention.